Hey, everybody. Good evening. It's Cindy Baker, the ADHD productivity coach, and I am here live on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, all to share some tips on how to thrive with ADHD. And I've listened to what you all said you were interested in, and so I have decided to talk about clutter because that kept coming up. So let me do a quick tech check here and make sure I'm streaming. So if you're watching live, say hi in the chat. Looks like I can hear me. So if you can see and hear me, if you could just say hi in the chat, that would be awesome. Looks like I've got like terrible lighting today. Sorry about that. But we're going to talk about 4 reasons that you might have a clutter problem. So if you think you have a clutter problem, we're going to talk about why and what you can do about it. I mean, that's the main thing, right? So if you're jumping on live, say hi in the chat, and if you're watching the replay, let me know that as well. I'll be looking at I'm looking at one of the Facebook groups here for those chats, but I do go back and look at the comments. So if you hear something you agree with or you like, let me know. Put some emojis in there. Don't just be like a silent lurker in the background. Let's make this interactive, and that's more fun for me, and you learn more that way. So if you have questions, comments, reactions, please put that in the comments section, and let's keep this interactive. So if you're watching live, say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and we are going to be talking about clutter tonight. So if you've ever struggled with clutter, this is a good topic. It's a very practical topic. So still waiting for some comments here. So let me know if you can see and hear me. I hate to keep going and then it not be received on the other end. So if you're watching live, please let me know in the chat. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you are watching the replay, let me know that as well. Of course, that won't help with my tech check, but if you're jumping on live, let me know in the chat. And if I don't hear from anyone, I'm just going to move forward and assume that you are here. So I'd love to know if you can see and hear me. Everything's streaming like it's supposed to. So just say hi. I can't see you. It's okay. Just say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. All right. Well, I'm going to move on. I don't know why no one is commenting. Oh, I see one. Yay. I see one comment. And the winner is Sanchez. Yes, from Dallas. Awesome. A Texan in the house. And it looks like somebody else is watching, but they're not saying anything. So I'm going to move forward. If you can see and hear me, then we're just going to go ahead. We're going to talk about the topic for tonight, which is 4 possible reasons that you have a clutter problem and what you can do to solve it. So how many of you think you might have a clutter problem? Put in the chat if you think you have a clutter problem. If you're watching live or the replay, just let me know. Is your house always messier than you'd like it to be? Are you embarrassed when people drop in unexpectedly? Because a cluttered home makes us feel, sort of out of control, doesn't it? You get frustrated with yourself and you start that negative self-talk. Why can't I just get my act together? And you start to give up and you think, I'm just a messy person, or I'm lazy, or whatever. They should put me on a hoarder reality TV show. But that's probably not the case. Well, lots of people with ADHD do struggle with clutter. So if you're watching this and you have ADHD, you're in good company. If you don't have ADHD, a lot of regular neurotypical people struggle with clutter as well. Maybe we're just actually just normal people with a few legitimate reasons for the way that our home is right now. And so once you understand why the clutter is there, the solutions might be easier to solve than you think. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. There are several reasons that you might have a clutter problem. I'm going to actually talk about just 4 of them. These are 4 of the most common. And then we're going to kind of unpack some effective solutions to eliminate that clutter and eliminate it for good, because that's the ultimate goal, right? So I'll be in and out. Not just okay. So if you have a clutter problem, put that in the chat. Let me know what what you think your reason is for having a clutter problem. But I'm going to give you the first reason, which is the most common, and it's very simple and it's very obvious. But the first reason is that you have too much stuff. And that might seem obvious, but it's usually the one that we have the most trouble with. We can't find clothes to wear, even though our closet is overflowing. So we end up buying new ones. And we have to buy, new tools because our garage is so full that we can't find the screwdriver. So things like that. We love finding great deals at a garage sale. So we just have to get it, and we store everything in our already crowded garage or basements, until it's just overflowing. And people have emotional attachments to things as well. We don't want to get rid of things. Too much stuff always creates more clutter. Too much stuff always creates more clutter. So what's the obvious solution? Right. Get rid of the excess stuff. And I know it is easier said than done. The solution is not to get more containers or organizing systems. I used to think that was the solution. I used to think I just need to organize all my stuff, but I had too much stuff. And it really makes more sense to do the obvious and the more painful thing, and that is to eliminate the excess. You really can't, and you shouldn't try to organize an excess of clutter in your home. The excess should not be there. So, one suggestion is to make it a game to get rid of 10 things every day. 10 things every day. So if you're emotionally attached to things that you don't have room for, then look for creative ways to preserve those memories without keeping every single item on display. I'll give you an example. I used to run a lot of races, and you get a shirt, you get a race shirt every time you run, and it's like a badge of honor, because it's like, I earned that shirt because I ran a freaking 3 miles or half marathon or whatever, and I want to I want to have this shirt. But I had so many of them, and I just really didn't need all those shirts, but I didn't want to get rid of them because they represented an achievement. So instead, I took pictures of all of the shirts and made a little display with the pictures and gave the shirts away. I also got a little hook thing. St. Jude Hospital, Children's Research Hospitals here in my city. And so they do a fundraiser every year. They have a marathon weekend and some smaller races. So one time in our race bag, we got a little hook thing, looks like a coat rack. And my husband and I put that right outside the door in the garage, and we hung all of our medals on it. And so they're on display. I mean, it's not in our house, it's right inside the door to the garage. But it's a reminder when we leave the house, we see it, we know we did that and we could do it again. And, but we didn't put them in a drawer. The thing is, if something is important to you, you're not giving it any value or any honor if you are keeping it in a box in the top of your closet or in the garage or in the attic. So get rid of stuff. Some things to get rid of right now would be paper things like old magazines and newspapers. Um, most everything's digital now. Just get rid of that. Extra cooking utensils and small appliances that you don't use in your kitchen anymore. Old and expired toiletries like makeup and nail polish and medicine that's expired, anything that's broken that you haven't gotten around to repairing. Um, any excess bed linens. You need 2 pairs per bed so that you can switch them out and do the laundry, and you always have clean sheets on. But you don't need mismatched, one ripped, but I still got the top sheet. You don't need that. You don't need old technology like VHS tapes. Some of you don't even know what that is. DVDs, CDs. Uh, I'm digitalizing a lot of my old photographs so that I can not have all those boxes of photographs. So the first problem is you just have too much stuff. Now, in my group coaching program, I have a whole 4-part series on clutter. We go through how to get rid of stuff, how to make those decisions, how to get over the overwhelm, going room by room in your house. So we do a deep dive. So don't have time tonight to get into all of that, but I will just say generically, you need to get rid of stuff. So that's the first problem. So what are you guys thinking? Anybody who's jumping on, say hi in the chat. And if you feel like you have a clutter problem, you're in the right place. The first reason is you just have too much stuff. The second problem or reason that you might have a clutter problem is maybe you're in a transitional season. Um, every time we change in our normal routine, we go through, or, maybe go through a stressful period, uh, a death in the family, changing jobs, a loss of job, moving, having a baby, um, maybe a health crisis or a financial setback, moving to another home, any kind of life altering experience. It is normal for clutter to build up, for clutter to multiply. So don't beat yourself up for that. And we tend to let things pile up because we figure that we're going to get things organized once we, quote, settle down, right? When I settle down, I'm going to do this or that. So, my suggested solution to this, if this is the issue, is to just I can't talk. Start with small tasks. Don't wait for circumstances to be ideal, because it may never be ideal. Life is a series of transitions. So find simple ways to get things in better order, even in the crazy seasons. Focus first. I was talking to my coaching group last night. I was saying focus first on areas that frustrate you the most every day. That's where you should start, like maybe your dresser or your closet or your kitchen, because you can make today a little better by spending just a few minutes decluttering and organizing things that you use every day. So a lot of clutter can be removed in just 5 minutes. And so do a walkthrough of your entire house with, I always suggest maybe a laundry basket, and then put any item that's out of place in that box or that laundry basket. And then walk back through the house and put back items where they belong. Um, as you go into the rooms, it's just like a store clerk reshelving items. You're taking them away if they don't belong in that room, and you go into the room they do belong in, and you're putting them back. That doesn't take very long. And if you just do that a little bit each day, it makes a difference. And then just pick one small section and focus on decluttering just that area. Don't look at the big overwhelm. And that could be just a bookshelf, um, or a junk drawer or a linen closet. Not, I'm not talking about, redoing your whole kitchen. um, just a small section, because what that does is it helps you feel better emotionally, and you start to build a little bit of momentum, and you feel a little bit of peace and sense of accomplishment. So get rid of anything that you no longer need or that doesn't belong there, and then organize the rest of it. You can create a donation box, and scan your home for items that you'd be willing to give to a charity. We've given to Goodwill, Salvation Army, the disabled veterans. You know, there's drop off places. Some will come to your house and pick things up. But the key here is not to replace those items with new ones. You get them out. The idea is to reduce the clutter, not trade like for like. Okay, and that's a problem that I see with a lot of people. They'll give things away, but then before you can blink, they've got clutter again because they keep bringing things in. So you just have to get rid of some of that stuff. So how many of you guys can relate to that? This is a very quiet group tonight. Y'all probably eating dinner, cooking. I know. All right. So, reason number 3 that you might have a clutter problem is you don't have a simple organizational system in place. You haven't really thought through some routines and habits, um, to reduce the clutter and keep it from building up again. Um, so one of the fastest ways for your home to become disorganized is when you don't know where to put things. Am I right? And when you don't know what to do with something, what do? You just end up setting it down anywhere. Any open, flat surface becomes a catch all. Um, and they become like clutter magnets. And so the solution is to identify the problem and address it. The next time you find yourself gravitating towards a clutter spot with another pile of stuff, then stop and take notice. Why are you setting that there instead of putting it away? Um, why are bills piling up on the coffee table? Because there's no bill paying area or recycling system. Um, why do your kids toss their coats and their papers on the kitchen table? Because they don't have a designated hook to hang their coat or a routine to deal with things that they bring home from school. And so once you can identify why the problem is occurring, you have to set aside time to set up a system to take care of it. You need a designated spot for mail, a designated spot for your keys. My keys are in a little coffee cup that stays on the counter right by the coffee maker. Um, that's where they go. If my husband's ever looking for my keys to move my car, he knows where they are. Um, we have hooks and we have hangers in the laundry room, which is right inside the kitchen door, for our coats. So they don't make it very far into the house. They immediately get put up. Um, you need an organized pantry, an organized refrigerator, a laundry system that makes sense for your family. Um, all of that I unpack a little bit deeper in my group coaching program. But for now, I'll just say you need to think through a system. Um, and we don't have time to explain the whole system tonight, but think about, is the clutter piling up because you don't have an organizational system? So that's one big reason. If you're jumping on, say hi, um, because this is a very quiet group tonight. That's okay. Now, the last one is something we talked about last Monday night, and that's perfectionism. So maybe the reason you have clutter is that you're a perfectionist. What? I know it doesn't sound, it sounds like opposite. Um, how can a perfectionist have clutter? You would expect the house to be perfect because they're perfectionists, right? But the funny thing is, perfectionism paralyzes us, you know? And so while we know that we have clutter, we don't feel equipped to deal with it perfectly. So what do? Nothing. Right? We get it's like we get overwhelmed and we don't have time or don't know how to make it perfect. So we procrastinate, we put it off. Um, maybe we don't have the perfect organizational system yet. We don't have time to clean out the entire closet, or we can't decide what's the most important thing to do first. So the solution is to learn how to get through that rut. Um, you have to tell yourself that it doesn't have to be perfect, and you have to believe that. I can't do that for you. Um, now, I do help that with that a lot in my coaching program, but you have to tell yourself um, a mantra that I always say in my coaching program: done beats perfect. You don't have to get it perfect. It just has to be better than it was. You just have to make a little improvement. You may never have enough time to clean up or reorganize an entire room all at once, but try spending 15 minutes a day tackling one small area like a counter or a tabletop, and you'll be amazed at the end of the week what all you've accomplished. So it doesn't matter which one you start with, but just start something and make it better than it was. Scan a room in your home and visualize how you want it to look. Um, make a mental note of the furniture and the decor that you want, and then the clutter that you don't want ahead of time. But think it through. One of the first things that I have my coaching clients do is to visualize their ideal life, and then write down what their space needs to look like in order to support their ideal life. So, for instance, if you want to be able to have people over on the spur of the moment, what would your house need to look like for that to happen? Not perfect, but just what would it need to be like? So, if your room is really a mess, uh, visualize just one corner at a time. Um, and create a to-do list and start with the tasks that are attainable in that moment, because you have to be realistic. You have to set realistic goals for yourself, and you'll feel satisfaction every time you can cross off a task on the list. You get that little dopamine hit in your brain, and it feels good. So you can get everyone in the family on board if you want. But you don't have to spend, I mean, you don't want to spend all weekend decluttering your home and then find out it's a disaster the next day. So you have to get everyone on board and figure out a system where you have a place that you put things, because a decluttered life is all about habits. It's all about building daily habits for you and your family that's going to eliminate that that clutter for good, because that's really what you want, right? So hey, Delaney, I'm calling you out. Oh, no, I'm not reading all y'all's mail. And that's what some people think. But I just work with a lot of people who have ADHD, and I kind of see the same themes over and over again. Um, and by the way, if you are interested in coaching, let me know. I'd love to tell you more about it. I don't want to make this into a commercial for my coaching, but be sure you do ask me, and so that we can talk, and you can see if it's something you want to do now or maybe later. Um, but uh, with or without coaching, you can find one small area tonight and start decluttering, and you'll be taking a step in the right direction. So those are 4 reasons that you might have a clutter problem, and some practical solutions that you can take to start heading in the right direction. Not to be perfect, but just to be moving forward, right? Um, and so that's really what matters. So if you're watching on the replay and you have any questions or comments, I would love to know about those. Um, and if you've got topics you want me to cover, I'm open to those suggestions as well. So I hope this was a good way to start off your week. Happy Monday, motivation for the Monday, right? So have a great rest of your week. If you're in my paid group, Focus and Flow, you're going to get some more tips on Wednesday for Winning Wednesday. And if you're not in my paid group, it is only $27 a month and there's no contract. So ask me about that and I'll give you that info as well. So have a great night, great rest of your week, and start to declutter. Bye.